And action. It's the Odd Pod coming live. It's the Odd Squad with the Odd Pod. And today is Platinum Banana. And it's the three usual suspects in the building. Vino, Wedo, and Romo. And Romo had a couple topics to holler at us. Yeah. Go ahead, brother.
First off, did y'all come up with that name?
What?
Did y'all two agree to that name? I don't agree. I don't remember agreeing to that.
Which one? Odd Squad or Odd
No,
Platinum?
Platinum Banana.
What do you want to call it?
I was thinking just Platinum. What is it?
Platinum Kush?
Yeah.
Well, we're smoking Platinum Kush and Banana Kush.
All rolled together.
All together, but Platinum is the favorite strain, particularly.
Yeah.
And since Romo loads up the videos, he can name it whatever the fuck he wants to call it. But, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Nah.
Oh, yeah, happy February 1st, new month. I feel like January was a fucking long-ass fucking month, bro.
It ain't even a year, bro. It's a month.
Yeah. Long. It's like a month times two.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Nah, it's the one thing I've been noticing with all three of my kids. That is, do you think that parents now are gonna raise them different? You know how they were raised, like how their parents raised them 20, 30 years ago. You think it's gonna be a completely different way? Do you think it's gonna be more of a loving approach, or do you think it's gonna be more of the same way? You know, just by the way we've all been brought up. Man, that's up to y'all.
Personally, I feel like with everyone having kids so young and with technology, how it is, it's impossible to raise your kids back then. Because, think about it. Most parents back in the day, maybe in our age, were maybe from the ages of 22 to 28, right? Maybe that's right. Now it's like, shit, bro. Like, most people have kids 17, 18, some even younger. You know what I'm saying? And like, not having that kid at 24 is like, damn, you all right, bro? It's like, it's rare. You know what I'm saying? So what I think that causes is that, like, you don't really get enough of that parental knowledge, to pass on. You know what I'm saying? You didn't hang around your parents or your mom or your dad as much to get those recipes or to get that wise advice or to hear those stories about how they fucked up. Cause it's just, like I said, it's a different time. The way the world moves is a lot faster. I can understand why things going the way they are, but basically more parents, it seems they're having to do it more by the seat of their pants, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? Everything is like is go. It's hectic, because you're learning on the job, so to speak. I'm pretty sure you two can attest to it. You know what I'm saying? You want to have boys young, and y'all have the same damn thing young. You know what I'm saying?
Say yes 3 times what I have.
What you think, Chris?
All right. So what was interesting to me was you said that a lot of these young kids, like teenagers, are having kids, but a lot of times it's those parents, the grandparents, that are raising the kids.
True that.
So in some aspects, they will get a little bit of the past, but because they're so tired, because it's not natural for an older person to have a kid. I mean, usually that doesn't happen, right? Usually by that time.
Well, imagine if your mom raised your boy. Imagine if his boy was just raised by his mom.
And I guess my mom is still kind of young. I mean, she's only 50. And my dad just had a baby a few years ago. So a lot of things are different now. So I don't know. I think maybe it's going to be different. Like, no matter what we instill to them, the world is different. Whether the parents stay the same or not, the world's changing.
True.
Yeah.
So it's on us to try to keep a little bit of that old school mentality, but embrace the new, because a lot of parents are better parents now, I feel like, but not always.
Facts.
Yeah. I think the reason I bring that up is, from what I've noticed, from the way I do it, is in the way I was raised, is I was somewhat neglected. Not neglected in a bad way, but I could go off and do random shit. I could go off in the field and go off in the forest, and my parents would just expect
butt
me
ass
to be back.
naked and shit.
Nah.
Putting mud on his face and just surviving.
I could be Jungle Boy. Honest to God,
He
bro.
making it sound like
Mowgli.
my parents were never home, man. I just had to
The
walk
way it
up.
sound like I'm going to the wilderness.
I had to crawl. I had to crawl to the fridge and get my own food.
Well, you can't do that now. Too much of
It's too much fucking kidnapping.
Yeah, kidnapping as far as little kids are coming around, and it's hard to trust a lot of people nowadays. And with that, kids tend to stay inside more. But even with that, I noticed this with my own kids, is that I'm noticing they spend more time on the tablet, and I'm not really paying attention to them. I truly believe I should be more involved. than just letting a tablet raise them.
I feel you feel like a lazy parent, so to speak. Like, damn, I should be more, like active right now as a parent, guardian, whatever.
I get the whole go thing, but I think a lot of parents should really take a step back.
But look, you look at it in one situation out of you gonna see these fools hopefully for the next 18, 20 years, right? Hey, don't worry. You know what I'm saying? If one day out of the week, them just fucking around with their tablet ain't gonna kill them. You ain't a bad parent for just letting, fuck it. One day I'm gonna let you fuck around.
And then it's hard too because, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm addicted to my phone just as well. You know what I'm saying? So for a lot of, so it's like you gotta make a conscious effort to like put, and that, I think it makes it more like, since it's less than, it's not about quantity, it's quality. So the times that they're not on their phone or they're not on the tablet, you make that shit count.
Yeah, it's not just about I was there in the room with you, or we saw a TV show together, or I took you to go see a movie. It's like, yo, I talked to you, we had a good time, we threw a ball.
Sometimes it's just little conversations that I feel like are especially as they get older.
Yeah, for little kids, it's just about feeling that, like, oh, you recognize me and you're not judging me, and you care about me, you know what I'm saying?
And then when my son was little, I went to the park with him. I wasn't gonna let him go by himself.
Yeah.
You can't do that shit now, but now it's like, well, fuck it. Now we gotta go out with him, which is not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. Like the one thing I remember, I'll always remember, bro, when I think of my mom, I think about when I was like preschool. She used to take me out to go fly kites. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna forget that. Yeah. And to her, it's probably just a little thing to kill time, right? But I look at it as like, I treasure those moments. You know what I'm saying? So
my dad only took me fishing one time.
But you remember the shit out of it,
I remember the shit out of it.
I always remember when back in early 2000s, when I was like maybe 6, 7 years old. I remember the Rangers used to really suck, and the tickets used to be real cheap. My dad used to just take me all the time, bro. Like we used to spend the summer just keep on going back.
So surprised with the way it makes it sound. Like they just had, nobody was
wandering around the wilderness.
The door was always open.
But I understand what you're saying because I would ride around my bike and go through the neighborhood.
You better hope your parents don't hear this episode talking about.
It's not about being neglected. It's just we have no freedom.
I'm not saying I was neglected.
Oh,
well, you did say that.
Well, I did.
But what I'm saying is,
it's not whatever.
It's not neglect in the way that some would say. Because neglect, I feel like some kids are neglected. Like they don't have enough food sometimes. They're not.
Yeah, your mom is crying right now.
They don't have clean clothes. Like I know
we've already had long time. We've gotten up past.
Yeah. No, but I feel like we were like a generation of also because the way the society is set up, where usually both parents are out the house having to work. We're latchkey kids, so a lot of times we were by ourselves, and that still happens now too. And that's good and bad, you know what I mean? But they because it didn't used to, moms didn't used to have to work in America. They didn't have to, you know what I mean? And that's, there was always somebody at home, but not anymore.
Shout out to the economy.
Yeah.
Shout out to inflation.
And then some women want to work, but my mom told me, she's like, it's funny how in one generation, like my grandma wanted to go to work, right? But she couldn't work because my grandpa really didn't let her because they had like 6 kids. And then my mom, she's like, but now she's like, oh shit, I wouldn't mind not working. You know what I mean? Like it just took like a generation or two for women to be like, oh, all that shit we fought for, it's nice, but now we have to. But it's give and take.
It's kind of like how when America, the founding fathers, they won the revolution. They won their independence from Britain. It's like, you got the freedom. But damn, we don't even want to work now.
Yeah, because the whole government shit is like.
But it's like, bro, you just inherited a country. You kind of have to work your ass off now. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. Like you shouldn't. But that's because they're tired as fuck from a revolution, and they're like, oh shit, now because I saw in that turn Washington Spies, like at the end of the war, George Washington just wanted to go back to his farm in Virginia, but he had to go to they needed him to like try to be a mediator. So it's like he didn't really want to be. Probably a president, but they made it. He had to.
It wasn't like like you said, he learned he had to. It was all really James Madison and all their ideas, all the founding fathers' ideas. James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, all these guys. Because there's a story behind that they sent James Madison to go to George Washington's plantation and to not tell him, hey, we need you to come over and come back. He kind of told him, hey, just come to this meeting so we can get everybody here, everybody together. Because that was the main problem, was getting everybody together, enforcing that Articles of Confederation, which was very hard to enforce with the way that it was written. But
that's prior to the Constitution, right? The Articles of Confederation.
Yeah, it was the government we had before the Constitution. We actually had, I think it was 13 presidents under the Articles of Confederation.
Hey, is it true we had a black president? back then? No? Okay.
Nah, but we did have presidents before Washington because, see, he was only the president after they signed the Declaration. But they were, but Congress, you know, whoever was in there, whoever ran that was the president. And there were like 4 or 5 presidents before him of that. You know what I'm saying?
I wonder why they don't give him action.
It's kind of like, because that was basically when we were still under British rule. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
There's a president.
Oh, okay.
There's America. It's like America before Britain and after we broke up with it. You know what I'm saying?
BB and AB and
yeah,
shit.
there you go. There you go. There you go.
1776 is like 1 or some shit, year 1. Is that when we finally separated? 76?
We
Or
declared our independence. We
76.
didn't technically get it until like 1781 when we signed that treaty,
Right.
which made it official.
Yeah, I don't know how we got to this from children, but you want to go to the next?
Well,
topic,
I mean,
that was cool. It was a cool rabbit hole. It was dope.
the transition about the whole and more involvement of parents. Do you think that with more involvement, how they label these kids with mental health issues and whatnot, and with anxiety and early depression and things of that nature? I mean,
but with this technology, I feel like it's damn near impossible not to have ADHD or anxiety if you're exposed to this shit by when you're 2, 3 years old. You know what I'm saying?
It's like everything else will bore you.
Yeah.
Almost. But I also feel like, and I haven't done any. I'm not a scientist, and I just
Don't tell me that, man.
Oh shit, y'all didn't know?
Damn.
Fuck. I'm sorry. But I'm glad y'all still want to be my friend though. Nah,
I thought you could hear me, bro.
I seen something that said that pesticides were like a big aspect of why there's been a large increase in the past recent years of mental disorders in children, like autism and shit like that.
And I had a revelation on that a couple years ago. It was like, look, and I noticed it because I got siblings and family members that were raised in all sanitary shit. You know, they were kept indoors as babies and shit. And I got other ones that were raised a little more outdoors. You know, I was one of the ones that raised outdoors. And you know what? I don't got no asthma. I ain't got none of that weird shit. But my siblings that were kept inside, kept in the house where everything was clean, kept in it, they're the ones that developed that the stomach diseases, the immune diseases, the asthma, shit like that, bro. And like you said, why? Because all the cleaning shit. You never got no real life air. You've been breathing this fake ass air with chemicals in it, fam.
When I was saying pesticides, I'm saying because it's on the vegetables and the food.
Oh man, my bad. I took that bitch to another route.
But that's legit though. I mean, but I was thinking with that, they're not getting enough vitamin D, obviously as well.
Yeah, you know, vitamin D deficiency causes hair loss and all kinds of shit. That's why.
The sun is needed, and they try to scare people out the motherfucking sun, but that's some bullshit, bro. Yeah. You need some sun.
Yes.
For sure.
Man, you're talking about autism and shit like that. I was talking about like fucking.
Well, cause you said so you said anxiety.
Y'all went way off of what I thought y'all were gonna say, man.
Some would say anxiety and depression are mental disorders.
They are.
Right? So they say things like Red 40 and all those dyes that are made from God knows what have negative influences on brains and shit. So
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
So it's on us to try to to battle that, bro. It's like a psychological war.
And like you said, as young parents, it all starts with first informing yourself of what's really up. You know what I'm saying? So you know what to keep your kids out of, what to keep your baby. Like for example, maybe some people would be like, oh, I thought I'd better keep my baby indoors to keep it safe from shit. It might not get sick. It might not get sick in that way, but it'll become sick later. You know? And now you're like, oh, you're right. It needs sunlight. It needs real oxygen from
dirt
the earth.
Between its toes and shit. Yeah, actual earth.
Yeah, it needs Mother Earth to nurture for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they say you get like natural energy if you just
put it near a tree. Put your baby near a tree. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Like, just stepping on the dirt.
Yeah.
On some dirt that you know that's not being pissed on and shit.
Yeah, that's not possible. I think nowadays.
You can find some. I guess I guess I piss in my backyard, but I don't mind.
Well, even when I was a kid, like I was like 10 years old, and we on recess playing soccer. When I would fall on the ground, I'd be like, oh, I can't imagine how people like spit on this like piece of grass I'm laying on. And to this day, that's what I think about. I'm like, oh, I bet people
go ahead.
I bet people like thrown up on here, nutted on here, pissed on here. Some dogs probably taking the big shit over here.
But the plants eat it. The earth eats it.
They recycle it too, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, the grass I'm laying on has some shit residue in there, you know what I'm saying?
That makes us a little bit stronger. We're not literally stepping straight into the shit, you know what I mean?
I feel you.
They let a little bit of, like, rat feces, I think, in our food.
Good God, Chris. No,
man, let's not go there. Let's not go deep in that.
All right.
What else you got, Romo? topic.
Well,
man.
because you're saying parent, yeah. So I think it's a mix. I think there's a lot of positive stuff, negative stuff, but we can do. I feel like if we do more positive, it'll outweigh the negative
Of course.
for sure.
Of course.
Next topic. Baby mamas. Who? Don't get me started.
Oh,
Nah, just kidding.
man.
Just
Nah,
kidding.
man, we're not, I'm.
Just kidding. Mine's
What
pretty.
about baby daddies, y'all motherfuckers?
Right.
Oh, them motherfuckers too. Yeah,
Yeah, there's a lot of
there you
piece of
go.
shit baby daddies,
Yeah,
man. I was
yeah.
one for a little while, but I would feel like I was always a good dad, but I was a bad baby daddy.
Shout out to the douchebags. Shout out to the assholes. Shout out to all the dirtbags. Every one of them that I know.
Yeah.
Let's have a toast for the jerk offs.
That'll
That'll never take work off.
Baby,
Baby, I got a plan. Run away as fast as you can.
Bro, that's Kanye's a genius.
Shout out to genius level OG Kanye.
OG Kanye.
Yeah.
Man, last time I was telling him about the time where Kanye was at a concert and he ranted and started talking about Google and Facebook. They be like manipulating what we see
Uh-oh.
and shit. And so right after the concert. Oh, and also what he said was like, y'all know who the best rapper is? And people were saying like
Cudi.
Jay-Z and shit. He said Cudi.
Cudi the best one of all of us.
After the concert, he got arrested, and they said for his own health that he was a danger to himself.
They had the.
So a week later, I think he comes out of the hospital. He has blonde hair, bro, and he goes to meet with Trump, and he looks like MK Ultra out of his mind.
They had to, yeah, man. They probably were like, oh, we didn't dose him enough tonight, y'all.
Or it ran out, yeah, like it was like running out or something.
Yeah, they
It's
took-
crazy.
Damn. Hey, man, price of fame. Price of fame.
He
right?
said it himself. He said, "I sold my soul, and all I got was a Happy Meal."
At least you know, bro.
At
That's
least
what
you
you
know.
get.
You understand.
You know, you ran out, you ran over there, you did all the some people even say you did the sacrifice too, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You played the game, fam. You know, there's an old saying, if you play with pigs, don't get mad, we ain't covered in shit. You know what I'm saying?
I do wonder though, because I feel like the way he helps out Cudi and some artists,
Yeah.
I feel like are certain people. Because I'm not God, so I can't judge people. You know,
course.
everybody
None of
makes
us can.
mistakes. But even if he sold his soul, I wonder if a person could redeem themselves after. I wouldn't risk it, but I think maybe it's possible.
I think, yeah, man, think about it. You think God ever turns away from you? You think Christ or God ever turns away from you?
I don't believe so.
No?
I think we turn from them.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
So there you go. All you gotta do is turn right back around and say, you know what? I know I messed up, and I please, I really am not. I really just save me. Take all my money. I don't care. Take my career.
Well, Ed said that his Christian album was all right. It was pretty decent. I didn't like
If
it.
you're into that church music, it might be your thing, but
But
I
he
mean,
liked it.
Doesn't
He's
he-
the only person that told me that he liked it. was
when
like,
I hear
shit.
Kanye, I expect to hear some sampling and some
Doesn't
crazy.
he-
I want some cuss words.
Yeah, yeah,
Cause with him and Cudi, that album was dope.
yeah. Those Kitsy Ghost.
Kitsy Ghost.
Yeah. What's
This-
that one? One of my favorite song was Free. Remember?
I'm so free.
Yeah. What you gonna say, Romo?
No, doesn't Kanye have his own like church now? Isn't he like
Yeah.
running services now?
Bro, I don't know. What if that's like his clone?
Way Out. Oh, I was gonna say, what if he's
Oh, it's
like,
Way Out.
fine,
That's possible, too.
Fine, they want me to do this albums that I got under the contract. Fine, I'm gonna make some shitty music, make some shitty albums.
But then I heard that he was doing something with Joel Osteen. So they're making some money though. That Christian
Someone's
money.
making money.
Joel Osteen is a fucking billionaire, I think, or a millionaire at least. You know what I'm talking about?
Man.
Joel Osteen.
Yeah. The. Oh God, look how everybody
Yeah.
looking at. Yeah, come on now. Say it with me, y'all.
Whenever Houston had that hurricane, he wouldn't let nobody in until there was outrage on social media, and he
But he'll
started letting
collab.
people
But he'll do a collab with Kanye like nothing.
in. It's weird.
And remember Kanye during Katrina?
Yes, sir.
George Bush don't care about black people.
Bro, that's triple OG Kanye right there, man. That. At least we got to witness
That's
it.
evil genius Kanye right
Yeah.
there. But-
I wonder if they take that off YouTube sometimes, or if it's just like
I think it's probably still up if we look.
probably.
Think
Right.
about how many people would just put it back up randomly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Find it everywhere. It's hard to monetize that. You can try, but
Yeah, YouTube is kind of weird. It's really big now.
Oh, it's huge, bro. I mean, look, what do you see on the commercials now? Big corporate people now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so that's how you know. When you see these big corporate people, you know that, it's not really by the people anymore. It's more like by the man now. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
For the people, by the man. That's a J.
yeah.
That's what's up.
This is a C right here.
This is an X.
Yeah.
People can't see that. If people want to see that, they're making C's and X's with their hands and arms.
Obviously. What do they think we're doing with our bodies and shit? Like our whole torso.
I figure
This
y'all
is
like
a
rice and
sin.
shit. No.
Oh yeah.
They don't know what we're having.
That's true. Use your imaginations. Imagination.
We're almost making a V with his legs open and wide open.
Yeah, you want to come in or what?
Bust it wide open. Alright, what was the next? Well, I'll let you spark that first.
The next one is just,
I guess
yeah,
not.
just something random, I guess. But it's you think it still takes two to raise a kid, or you think the single parent thing is they can do it, but do you think it's much easier with two rather than just one? From all
for
three.
sure, I think it's easier.
Yeah.
If
There's two people involved.
there's two people who
Involved.
are cooperative,
Involved, yeah. Cooperatively
They work
involved.
together.
Is that
Yeah.
the key element
Yeah.
right there?
yeah, they gotta it has to be,
Cooperation.
yeah, bro. Because you can have two. You can have a kid that's raised by one that ends up better off than a kid that's raised by two if the two were fucked up, or if one of the two were fucked up.
Yeah, and sometimes if you have, remember, like we talked about, on the same team, and if you don't have one that's on the team, but you're gonna have the spoiled ass kid because look, one of the parents will be trying to check them while the other one is always babying them, and then they grow up spoiled. You know what I'm saying? Because they always run to that one parent that always had their back. You know?
Yeah. But even like I think whenever parents split up, I think it would be because I know how relationships work nowadays, and I think divorce rates are higher than 50%, and I just think that both the parents should be involved in the kid's life, and the kid should never be should never have to suffer because of relationship choices that the parents make.
Of course, kids didn't do anything.
Right, but a lot of times they get the blunt of
They
it.
do. They suffer.
Yeah, I think even with the two parents married to, different people, do you think that the two parents should still make it a serious effort to still be the,
It should
not
still
a
be-
family, but
No,
be on the same
cooperation.
page. Yeah,
Yeah,
be
for
on
sure, for
cooperating with each other.
That's the ideal. It's not easy, but nothing about a family is easy. I don't think.
Yeah, I know for a fact my mom hated my stepmom. You know what I'm saying? It's not like my stepmom ganked my dad from her or nothing. It's just that my mom just. You can imagine. You know what I'm saying? That's.
My mom's cool with
Your stepmom.
yeah. I feel like that's gonna light on fire, bro. Yeah, they're cool. It's kind of a Reba situation like that show, but it's dope.
Rivas. I don't think I know that show.
My first cough on the podcast for this session. I think.
It's not a real Chris cough.
Nah.
That don't count. That's like a half.
That's like a baby
That's a
one.
half.
On one of them, I was way too close to the mic. I was like, oh shit, it scared me.
You heard,
My car and
oh!
shit. I need to watch myself.
It was like I coughed in my own ear.
Mhm.
I understand y'all now. When I'm next to y'all, I know what y'all hear now.
Yeah. The surround sound. That shit's crazy.
What else you got there, Romo?
That was it for me. Unless y'all want to start talking about what I learned about the intelligentsia
Is this Russia?
and socialism, yeah.
All right, go for it.
Well, to put it to you this way, there was this group that basically had it out for the czars. The czars would want to try to reform Russia ever since Nicholas I, Catherine the Great, and even with the greatest reformer of them all, which is Alexander II, which is right before Nicholas II, the last czar.
So he was the second to last czar.
No, he was the third to last.
Oh,
Because this goes by the story. And if you're done dying, can you hand me my backpack?
nah, he's not. He's just lubing it up right now.
Oh yeah, I ain't dying. It's just
But put it to you this way:
Sunday
anytime
morning.
that Russia would try to reform, modernize, westernize, there would always be some type of a rebellion, some type of a shift in, something that would happen amongst the people, an uprising that would be caused all because of these intelligentsia. These intelligentsia, in my opinion, really remind you of the modern day liberals. or the Democrats, the wild Democrats is what I mean, like Elizabeth Warren and what I consider Bernie Sanders, all the ones that want socialism.
Why do you call them wild? Because
Because
want socialism?
Pretty much.
Tell me in a nutshell, what is socialism?
In a nutshell, what socialism is basically everybody's equal, everyone makes the same pay, and plus the government has control of damn near everything in that you have,
It sounds like communism.
in a way.
Okay.
Yes.
Is
It's the same
socialism what Adolf was trying to accomplish in Nazi Germany?
It's a different way of socialism, but yeah, in the same form, in a nutshell, in a way, yeah. But it was in a different way. You can have it, but you can't. You gotta have the right system of government and right people in there for it to work. That ain't gonna happen anytime soon in this generation.
Of course.
It could have happened like it happened with Otto von Bismarck, like we learned with his system that was happening. That was maybe in a sense of form socialism, but it was the right form because you had the right people in there. You were never restricting the people from getting those rights. You were allowing them to learn what they are.
The OG Ben Franklin, after the Declaration of Independence was signed, as everyone was walking out, he said this. He said, "You have a republic if you can keep it." You know what I'm saying? In other words, what you just said. You can have a good country, a country that's a republic and really is for the people, by the people, but the people got to work to keep it. And that's the problem. We talked about this earlier. The people don't want to work to keep it. They just want to live in it, and that's it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's that, and then when we get lazy, the schemers come and take over, and they turn into, like he said, socialism, communism. You know what I'm saying?
Otto von Bismarck had a good formula.
Yeah, bro. Otto von Bismarck fixed Germany up in such a way that no one could fuck with it. He fixed it up in such a way that the war would not happen in Europe without there being absolute chaos for the person who started it. And basically, after he left, the people who were left in charge did everything they could to destroy everything he built. All that organization, everything running right, all logistics. You know,
were they infiltrators or something?
Yeah, they
100%.
weren't for Germany, obviously. Well, the people who came in after this and ruined Germany were clearly not for Germany. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they did it the worst way possible, bro. Like they knew they couldn't get the older people like Otto von Bismarck, Frederick William. They knew they couldn't get to him, so they went to Frederick William's son.
Yeah, bro. It'd be like, imagine if you were a king, right? And you were a good king. You had good morals, and your people trusted you, and they loved you, and your country was protected well. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the schemers, they knew they could never get to you or your court because y'all were too strong. But they got to your boy. They got someone to go to his school, one of the kids in his school, to start talking to him and make friends with him. And then this friend got him into like
girl.
Yeah, no,
it's always a girl.
Yeah, got him into communism or gets him into drugs. So if they can't corrupt him, they'll just fuck him up, turn him into a little druggie. You know what I'm saying?
And with that is the same
weaken
connection
the kingdom anyway.
to Nicholas the First or Nicholas the Second, the last czar.
Is this your relative?
Yeah. No.
Nah.
It's your relative.
But he went to the same school and grew up with Wilhelm. Was it the second or the first? Can't remember. Wilhelm, this is the son.
The one who became
Kaiser Wilhelm was the second, right? It was the second because he was the second born. So Kaiser Wilhelm II and Nicholas II. Nicholas II both went to the same school. In fact, they grew up together and were very close friends. So my idea is maybe somebody who brought both of them up were teaching them. But Nicholas II really rejected these ideas. He really was not for it. But
the other guy, Wilhelm,
believed 100% for
was
it.
like, what? I can have all the money and be lazy and look beautiful and get paid and do whatever. Oh,
now,
what do I have to do?
They did send one person that I think was the major downfall of the last great czar, and that was his own wife. I believe.
Oh yeah, Rasputin.
Because there was a story that Rasputin was having an affair with Alexandria, the last Tsarina of the Russian Republic.
And it's been found out recently. Well, I don't know how recently, right? But like, a lot of information has come to light about Rasputin, about what he used to do on the side. Because you know what? A lot of people, including myself, I used to question: was this dude a good guy or a bad guy? You know what I'm saying? Because his reputation is so mythical, right? Like he's like a legend over there. And you know what? After finding out about what this dude was about, he basically this is what he would do in between him being at the king's castle, right? You know, doing this thing, with the queen and her son or whatever the hell. He would often be seen with politicians or prostitutes, and often go into bathhouses. He would have meetings at bathhouses like 4 times a day. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What the fuck, bro? You know what I'm saying? And it was well known, and in Europe, bathhouses, they're used, for prostitutes and for the shadiest of shit, you know what I'm saying? So that to me let me know that this guy wasn't in some shit. You know what I'm saying? This guy was all into, if he was the biggest piece of shit I think he was in the black magic, straight up, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it was obvious he was an infiltrator. He was one of those guys that schemers paid to go and try to fuck up, the monarchy of Russia. And it worked. It worked.
Damn. So like Che Guevara, he was like a good guy, bad guy, depending on who you ask, right?
Yeah, it's kind of like when Castro died, a lot of people, it was on the fence, right? Some people were like, oh, thank God he's gone. Some people were like, oh, he was a great man, this and that, you know what I'm saying? Bro, I just asked this, right? The guy was from Cuba, and he supposedly, that's where he did his things, right? I want to know from a Cuban who lived during, what do you think? And most Cubans who lived during his reign will tell you, this is not a good guy.
Dig.
That's why when the president of Canada, that dude, the what's his name, whatever his face is, he was
liberal.
Yeah, he was hollering out, oh my, shout outs to Castro. My dad was a good friend of his. That kind of let me know, yeah, this guy's a piece of shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Little hints like that let you know what's up.
And I can tell you, maybe this is my theory. This isn't what history will tell you. This is what I think, and this is where I pinpointed at. It started with the Decembrist rebellion in Russia. If you look around the time of December 14th, 1825, in the year of 1825, maybe around 1820, 1830, we start seeing maybe a lot of the monarchies around there. You probably would start seeing a lot more revolutions that were happening, because that's what was happening in Russia. Every time that a czar would try to come up and make these reforms and try to modernize Russia, but also keep the traditions alive, they would always want to rebel. They would always want to say, no, that's not enough. We want more. We want more.
You know what that sounds like to me? South America, and how like all of a sudden in a very short amount of time there was revolution, rebellion in every country, uprisings and shit. But now looking back, we all know that this was because there was certain countries, foreign countries, coming into South America trying to do everything they could to ruin the economy and take its natural resources. And sad thing is, it actually worked.
Yeah, the same shit that happened in Africa happened in South America.
And Africa's the big one. People sometimes don't realize how big Africa is.
Bro, I know, like, cause they never show it the correct size.
Africa is huge.
It's giant.
They try to make it like the same size as South America, but that
I put it the only thing I've ever seen to give Africa its justice is the new Sid Meier Civilization game. You play it and you're trying to explore Africa, it's fucking humongous. And then when you go to the other countries, you're tiny compared to this giant continent.
Well, think about it, man. Africa, okay, not only does it have Africa where you would think of like, oh, there's black people here, but there's South Africa where there's a bunch of white people. And then there's like Egypt and Libya where there's all these Middle Eastern looking people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's humongous.
It's fucking dope.
It is.
But I guess to give you a quick definition of who these Decembrist people were, they timed it right. Alexander the First had died from mysterious circumstances. Really, I think he was taken out because they were starting to try to create more reforms. Yet the government was in the massive confusion because he didn't leave an heir. It normally would go to the next heir to the throne, and they didn't have one. So they were kind of like scrambling around trying to figure it out. Well, they decided that this was a perfect time to try to cause a rebellion, to get the people to revolt and to shoot their democratic ideals. I'm talking about modern day democratic ideals. The way we look at democratic ideals today. Right. What was crazy with it was that when the day of this happened, when this was supposed to happen, a lot of those leaders pussed out. And when it happened, the new czar that came up, they arrested all these people. They stopped it. They killed most of the rebels that did try to do it. Because, it was just off timing from the get-go. Because nobody showed up. It was just a fucking shit show from the get-go. So as soon as they took them all, They basically rounded them up and executed every one of them. But it was because of the way they did this, and it was told by Alexander Pushkin, which was another rebel. I mean, idealist rebel, but he was a very famous Russian, poet. He talked about Russian pride and talked about how the Russian people were being mistreated by the government and whatnot. I mean, he was very dramatic with it. Well, he witnessed this as a young kid. This is what turned him against the government, was watching the assassination of all of his brethren. He was one of the ones that pushed out of the rebellion as well. He tries to claim that he wasn't there at the time, and well, he kind of was, but he bussed out, in my opinion.
He hid at his girlfriend's house or something.
That's what they claim. He's saying, "Oh, I was never in town. I was in St. Petersburg," and he was arrested, but they let him go because they couldn't prove that he was there or not.
Do you think if these guys had shown up, the history of Russia would have been different?
No.
So it wouldn't have mattered?
I think it would have been too disorganized at that point, and it would just Nicholas II would have just took him back over.
Maybe they saw it like that.
Or Nicholas I.
Maybe they saw that this is a pointless battle. We lose, we win. We lose, we lose. We win, we lose. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Lose situation.
So they'd rather just retreat. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes that's the best way to
I mean, you can't. I mean, if we're in the same spot, you're not gonna say, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna jump right in and just let myself get killed." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, you might get some honor, but then they'll be like, "Well, you're kind of stupid too."
Yeah.
One prime definition of Nicholas I. He did execute all these people, but he had one idea, even with trying to create the reforms and not trying to, and government stopping it. And you see this pattern repeat throughout of Russia's history. The reason that the reforms didn't go through wasn't because the Tsar didn't want it. It was because the government was afraid of modernizing. They were afraid because they saw what happened to the French with the French Rebellion and with the French Revolution, where how the people just kind of went fucking bizarre and just went berserk, and it was just crazy for years. They saw the same thing happening in most other countries. I'm pretty sure it was happening in Spain. And if I look, there's probably other rebellions that were going on at that time. There were a lot of things changing. People didn't want the monarchy anymore, but Russian people kind of did. But these certain group of people, the intelligentsia, they wanted to disunify this Russian group. I can just tell you, Nicholas I just believed in unifying Russia as a family, and the Tsar being the father of this entire family. It started with the ideology of Nicholas I, that he wanted to be the watchdog of Europe, to keep the tradition of Europe alive and well, and to stop this chaos that was going on. But the modern government was afraid of just this modernization because they thought if they did, this was going to be the result. Alexander II tried it. Many other czars tried it, but it was their own fear. And every time that they were about to do it, something would happen. Yeah. Some rebellion would happen. Somebody would either try to revolt. Somebody would try to change the government. And in a minute, I'll tell you why the story of Alexander II, why he's the last great Tsar, is because of the way he went out.
What do you mean modernization?
They're trying to westernize. They're trying to be more of like Western Russia. Of course.
What year was this?
This is in the 1820s. I mean, this is throughout from 1800 all the way to about 1900, all the way until the end of
They're trying to be like Western
Europe.
Mm-hmm. Like France and Britain and Italy, all those places over there. When you think of Europe, the countries normally think.
So they're more modern, as in like democratic,
more free from what they wanted to presume. Right. They wanted more rights. The peasants wanted more rights. They wanted to be able to read, have education, have everything. It took a while because this fucking intelligentsia just kept fucking everything up. They just kept just any type of reform that would cost something. They would even clash with each other. There was even two different freaking groups. There was one westernizers and.
So the intelligentsia was like a CIA type shit or not?
Give or take.
Intelligence.
No, to me it was just. That's what they called themselves as the leaders of these rebellions.
Okay.
It's just the different leaders that came together. They grouped themselves as the intelligentsia, and they split themselves off from the westernizers and I can't remember the last one. It was a Russian name. But
you keep saying intelligentsia.
Intelligentsia, my brother.
Intelligentsia. Now I keep thinking in Spanish, but it's Russian.
Yeah. Well, this takes me to Alexander II. And this is where it's going to start to connect it all together. and where I started piecing it together, like it's because this is where socialism started. At the end of Nicholas' reign, he wanted to end Nicholas I's reign. He wanted to end serfdom. He wanted to end that peasantry, that the
Feudalism.
He wanted to end it all. That's
good.
what they were going for. Even Alexander II, he passed it in 1861. Or in 1880. My bad. These years, they confuse me sometimes. Actually, yeah, it was 1861. He abolished it, and it went into effect in 1863. It was actually crazy when he did this because the peasants didn't even believe this at first. They thought they were fucking playing a joke on him. They thought the fucking government was lashing them again, just trying to take it away from them. No, it was true. They freed serfdom. They ended it. So meaning they made their own wages. It was a way to start modernizing all of Russia.
Did they pay taxes?
Everybody did. Yes.
Because serfdom is like more than taxes, right? Serfdom
You basically you work the land and then you still get charged to work that land.
Mm-hmm.
But they stopped all that. The people, whatever the people were working on, that's their land now. It belongs to the people now.
Yeah.
But after they found out that this was true, they were excited. They were happy. But then this wasn't the end of Alexander when he took over after his father's death. You know, this was after the Crimean War when they lost a lot of wars and whatnot. We'll get to the next modernization because he modernized and mobilized the army, but that's for another subject, another day. He reformed the education system. He gave free education. He gave them 2 different educations that you can choose from. Not only just a church, but whatever they established amongst the city. He also allowed them to self-govern themselves. To allow the people to actually choose their own representatives. To run their own city.
Sounds like Alexander II of Russia was a pretty cool guy, man.
They also instituted a new legal system to reform the judicial system in which they had in 1864. So now you had jury trials. So, I mean, back in the day, Russia had a lot of police states. I mean, they had a lot of police force that stopped and stopped people from trying to revolt. A lot of them, and also with the writing, you had to get it pre-approved by the Tsar before you were able to publish it. So it was kind of hard to be a publisher at this time. He lifted that. He stopped the censorship in 1865. He reformed the press law to where now you don't have to wait. You know, somebody else can just judge it and it's like, alright, whatever. If they'll allow it now.
How long did this last? This period of time? Because
All the way up until his death.
When did he die?
Because then they became communists.
No.
No?
This is just because this fool was pissing them off because he was starting to reform everything, and this wasn't the guy they chose to do it. This guy was still about keeping the traditional system of the Tsar, keeping that idea of it, and still being that fatherly figure to all the people, because that's what they really wanted. They didn't want a complete reform of the government. They just wanted to have a little bit more right to say what they wanted. There was more rights in the government. But I'll tell you this much, he was almost assassinated in 1866, and then he was almost assassinated 8 times in his life.
8 times?
8 times they tried to kill this fool. They failed 8 fucking times.
It's like a Russian 50 Cent, bro.
Bro, it's crazy. After this, of course, he kind of put a stamp down on it, and it put extra guards in a way. Let's put it to you that way.
Became more cautious.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, yeah, bro. After the first, I would have been more. I would have put more guards. Second and third, I've been like, shit.
I need me a decoy, y'all. Find someone who looks like me.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Be like, bro, I mean, I'll take care of your family and take you out, but you know what?
Right.
You're my decoy, and that's what I'm gonna hire you for, bro.
And I'm your king or czar, so you gotta do it.
Yep.
I guess.
But he died in 1881. And before
Natural causes?
No.
How are they taken out? Let's hear it.
Oh, let's hear it. You gotta have the backstory before I tell you, because it's not gonna make sense.
Spit it up.
Alright. So in 1879 and 1871, there was a major crisis that had erupted. It was diplomatic humiliation. I think we saw this with the Turkish-Russo War when they won and they battled and they beat everybody and they were able to win those lands in the Balkans, but because Russia was starting to be seen as, oh man, they're gaining too much power, Europe was like, nope, nope. Even after all that manpower and shit, you gotta give it all back. You're getting too powerful. You're getting too strong. No. They got fearful, and so basically they made Russia give back everything that they had won.
What do you mean Europe?
All of Europe, France, Britain, not Prussia, because Prussia was allied with them, but Austria, Hungary,
All those
and
countries
Italy.
over there.
Mhm.
Okay.
Even Germany?
No,
Well,
they
Germany-
were allied with them, so they weren't scared
Germany
of them at
was
all.
Prussia, right?
Yeah. No, this was a German empire. at
Isn't
that
it the
point,
same thing they would do to Germany later on?
pretty much?
Yeah, interesting. Alright.
So it's crazy, isn't it? So they had to get back all of that what they had earned.
Mm. It's fucked up.
Now
So he dies, and
he established something, or at least attempted to. He established that the censorship. He wanted to end it all.
Prior
Oh,
to-
it was the Mekhalov plan that he signed in the law. He basically wanted to reform everything, not reform everything, but he wanted to make this law that everybody had their own rights. That this would end. Like, yeah, we're gonna officially make this law in 1881. But after he signed this plan to establish all these reforms, that this was the guy that was gonna be my successor afterwards, and this was all. A few hours later, Alexander II was assassinated by a terrorist group by not shooting him, by not stabbing him, but by when he was getting into his carriage, they grabbed a bomb and threw it under it and blew his carriage up.
Mm.
they had to make sure he took his ass out.
Mm-hmm.
His son Alexander III took his place, and under this law, after inheriting the throne, he undid not inherited the law, he undid every law. He undid everything that his father did.
Sounds like little Wilhelm over there.
He was a sellout.
Yep.
And that's as far as I've gotten.
Alright.
I mean, that's
So Alexander II, all around good guy. Alexander III.
Piece of shit.
Yeah.
So what years had he? You said 1861 was when he died.
1981. 1881 is when he died.
But it's crazy when you see the correlation of what was going on all around the world, even in the United States. We were going through Civil War too.
We were.
When he was trying to create all these reforms.
I wonder like what was going on with planets at the time and shit. Like, well, there's like a lot of, I don't know. Technology was sure changing.
It would.
Because the bombs and shit. That's kind of recent, right? Like what kind of bomb did they use in 18?
Well, it's probably like some type of like a grenade, but it's probably like a sticky dynamite or something.
Or TNT.
Something.
Dynamite.
That sounded like an info-packed podcast, guys.
It was. What are we at, bro?
I don't know.
I'm talking about the J. Nah, I'll keep going now.
We're at 47 minutes.
We call that softcore history.
Softcore history.
Because there's a podcast called Hardcore History.
Oh, word.
Man, that shit was dope.
And that dude goes deep. Like, his podcasts are a few hours each, and he goes, like, he'll take about 8 hours to tell you about one war. Because he goes into details.
This is why JFK was like a gangster when he talked about him, bro. Shit was dope. Well, dangerous. It was dope.
Wait, he made JFK sound like a gangster?
No.
How?
Really? How?
You ain't listened to the Destruction of the World one?
Oh,
the end of the
JFK
world
was
destruction?
I feel like that was just too dramatic.
Nah, man, that shit got dope as fuck, bro. I was into it, dog. That shit was awesome.
I mean, I see that he was like trying to make some changes, like with the speech and all that shit.
Man,
but
it's because the whole world
He's trying to
looked at JFK as like a young nobody. Like he was just man.
the
he
youngest
nobody.
president probably that we
He
ever
was.
had, right?
He was the youngest president we ever elected in office. And
Probably
the whole
most
world,
handsome son of a bitch too.
he was, and the whole world hated on
No
his ass for that
homo.
shit.
No homo for sure. No Romo? Nah. It's,
They hated on him for all that shit, bro.
I bet.
All the world hated his ass, even Russia. Nikita, I think it was Khrushchev at the time, wasn't it?
I happen to think President Ford was a pretty striking man himself.
Well, what's his name? Had a teddy bear, Theodore.
Theodore?
It doesn't even
Did
look
he?
like him though.
Oh,
That's why
yeah,
they
he
called
did.
the teddy bear because of Theodore Roosevelt. The teddy bear.
Yeah, man. Y'all should check it out.
Was that on one of the hardcore history?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it'd be like a porno.
Shout out to Dan Carlin.
Shout out, man.
That
I stayed up all night listening to that motherfucker.
He's the one that does it. No, you're thinking about the comedian Carlin.
No, I'm not thinking George Carlin.
Yeah, the comedian George Carlin. Dan Carlin is a
He's like a historian.
Yeah, like a rogue historian. I'm pretty sure he's like properly educated too. The dude knows his shit.
I mean, he's probably done extensive reading on this shit.
Yeah,
Bro.
the dude
he knows
his
it
shit.
to the
The
T.
dude can talk for hours about history if you know once you get him going. All right, guys. You want to call this a wrap?
Let's call it rap so I can kick Romo's ass in chest, boy.
Yeah.
Nah, we'll see what's up. I gotta keep it humble, man. Keep it humble. Peace, love, and happiness.
Everybody have a good one.
Yay.
Peace.